you mentioned the unfortunate suicide of your mother. Like, can you take us back to where you were personally, and obviously what that journey was like for you?
Yeah, of course. No, I'm super open about it. I've run some events for mental health and try and be as much of an advocate for mental health as I possibly can. My mum was severely paranoid schizophrenic for as long as I knew her. If you guys have seen A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe, the movie, it was a perfect depiction of who she was, incredibly intelligent, but highly paranoid, hallucinations. She'd think people were breaking into our house and stabbing us with needles in our sleep and all these sorts of things. And then she'd say that we were part of a royal family and all of these crazy, thought processes ever since I was a little kid. So as you can imagine, it's pretty scary. We grew up in King's Cross. I'd walk to school, to Darlinghurst Public School by myself from like 5, 6 years old, just walking through the heat of the cross during the underbelly days. And that was just my life. I knew that something was different about her. I knew that she wasn't the same as other parents. Um, and then my dad got custody of me and we moved to the Gold Coast. So that was in Sydney, moved to the Gold Coast. And so throughout my life, I just built a mechanism of dealing with her and the mental illness. And often she'd say that she was going to commit suicide. It was often a sort of like an attention-seeking thing, or so we thought. We never thought that she would actually commit to it. And then 7 days before my 20th birthday, she hung herself in her own apartment. So that was obviously like a super overwhelming experience. Um, I my mind expected it to some degree because she'd talked about it my whole life and threatened it and all those sorts of things. So I dealt with it the best I could. My grandparents are European; they don't speak much English. So as a young man, I had to deal with her affairs and her funeral and all these sorts of things, and it just made me grow up really fast, and also realize the importance of things in life. And I ran some events for mental health and did some charity work and all that sort of stuff. And I guess you could say that that was the toughest moment in my life, but I've been through many. You know, Losing people that are close to me to huge business ups and downs, potentially losing everything I've got to having big wins and stuff like that. So I definitely haven't taken the easy road. I'm definitely not risk adverse. I love the challenge, and in life, This is how I sort of refer to myself as a fighter in life. Maybe not in the cage, but in life for sure.
Was there any anger as a kid towards your mother or even your father for not, I don't know, maybe getting custody? Like, was there any of that anger as a kid?
Heaps, heaps, heaps of anger, heaps of deep, 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 deep seated anger. Um, uh, that I really had to overcome over time. Uh, and I think I don't I think martial arts is literally the only thing I can attribute to what has got me through it. What has allowed me to survive. I would be in a gutter. I would be somewhere crazy if it wasn't for martial arts and my partner Holly. They're the two things that were constants in my life. Everything else was crazy. So the fact that I had those two constants gave me some sort of stability and support, and allowed me to deal with all the other chaos that was outside of my life. And now I've been able to create stability in my own life, and I've created my own successes. And now I can see in other kids that come through our facility the same things that I've gone through. I can see in them, and I try my best to try and help create some stability for these guys, especially these fighters as well. There's a reason they're fighting. Fighting doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like, it's pretty crazy. When I sit beside that cage and I see Taser walk into that cage and fight Ethan Mitchell and get his nose pushed across his face. That shit's not normal. you know. So these guys have gone through something and are going through something, and this and fighting is there for them, and I want to be there for them as well to create some sort of stability and help them, create success out of their life, also outside of fighting and beyond fighting.
Well, I mean, I'm glad we've definitely talked about this because I mean, for a guy that has gone through what you've gone through to have the educational background, the business success, and just the personal ability to not let the things that has happened to him craft who he is in a negative sense. You've used it to sort of elevate yourself, and you can't see it. You know, you're not an angry guy. Like you've not talked shit about one single person this entire time. Obviously, martial arts is a big part of it, but how did you become sort of like who you are? Did you just decide one day, like, I'm not going to let this consume me?
Yeah, I think everyone has a fork in the road when they go through hard times. And I think for this is going to sound pretty crazy, to be honest with you, but I'm happy to say it because I'm an open book. My mum going through what she went through, and I mentioned to you that she would always say, we're part of a royal family, we're special, we're this and that. And then she would go down these other crazy tracks. I think that in that delusion and in these stories that I knew weren't true, she gave me some sort of self-esteem. She helped me build some sort of self-esteem out of delusion and out of something I knew wasn't real. So I do think that the hard times that I've had in my life have actually been my special powers, because every time I've gone through something hard, I've always had a habit of just going, cool, how can I make the best out of this situation? Or how does this situation help me? As opposed to feeling sorry for myself, getting down in the dumps, attaching my identity to it, thinking I'm a failure. I've never had those thoughts. I've always been able to go down the other pathway, which is, fuck, I just lost $500,000 cash in that deal. That could have sunk me, or it sunk me. What a great experience. That was awesome. Like,
Hmm.
holy shit. Man, put me in the gutter and I'll be sweet. Like, put me in a gutter and I'll survive and I'll phoenix out and I'll make a success. I'm so delusional and sure of myself in that sense. So nothing can hurt me unless someone kills me. Like, you knock me out, I don't care. I don't care if that happens, if the crowd sees me get knocked out or people see me fail or CMPT fails. Oh well, like I tried my best. I'm not attaching my identity to it. And I think that, if I am being completely honest, I think that goes all the way back to my mum saying that we were special. And some internal part of me thought, oh, maybe I'm special. But like, I think as I mature and grow older, I know I'm not special, but uh, I at least have a self-esteem and a control of my mind to know when I'm going down a dark path and to be able to turn myself out of it. And I think that that's something that I would love to see a lot of young people uh, challenge themselves with as well, instead of sort of taking on that dark path, challenge themselves to see, a positive route and see an alternative route. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely disagree. You are, in fact, quite special. It's just the
Right
way,
back at you, bro.
yeah.
Right back at you.
And it's, I guess it's like what they always say with the whole, like, isn't it better to just think everything is going to be okay? Because then if it's not, it's over.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
that's kind of